Even the appointment of the CBI director has been politically controversial, sir. Why do you think so?
It is not decided by one person. There is a committee. When Prime Minister is there and the leader of opposition is also there, so I don't see.
DC Jain, sir, an IPS, special director of one of the India's premier investigation agencies, Central Bureau of Investigation. We will not allow CBI to come into our state.
What is CBI? It is the police of the government of India, central police organization. If they withdraw consent, then you can't investigate. But the constitutional courts, using those extraordinary powers, they can direct any agency to investigate any crime anywhere in the country.
Many people say that CBI is just a tool in the hands of the ruling government.
People trust. They think that they will do this job professionally. They'll not come under pressure. That is why people say, no, this investigation of this case should be transferred from the local police to the CBI. That Sushant Singh Rajput had created so much hue and cry. Everyone was so keen to know what is happening. But did you ever find any CBI officer speaking to any camera?
No, sir.
You do your job professionally. You're not supposed to talk to anyone outside.
How do you handle the political pressure, sir, especially in high-profile cases?
Two things are very good about this agency.
Sir, your earlier postings were in rural Rajasthan. So, could you tell us about some specific instances which are special to you and how did you deal with such situations?
Yes, in fact, the challenge is what I would say, because yes, you are right. My first posting itself was that I was Assistant SP Rural, and there were 7 police stations under my jurisdiction in a district called Ajmer of Rajasthan. So basically, there is definitely a difference the way you approach people who live in urban areas and those who live in rural areas, because people in the rural areas are very simple. And the thing which I always learned about in my job is one, that you have to be very, very accessible. You should always, they should always have this confidence in you that they can meet you anytime, they can reach you anytime. So if you visit them quite often, if you are seen, if they are able to meet you, then they get to know about your persona. And I would tell you, in the police job, your personal image and what people think about you as an officer, that matters a lot, even in your discharge of responsibilities. Because I remember handling many difficult law and order situations where I think my word, if with my face and my word, maybe people trusted in me.
Yes.
They reposed their confidence in me, and on my assurance, I was able to, I think, solve many situations, because they trust this man doesn't lie. If he promises, he delivers.
True,
and he's always open. We can always go and meet him. If I may give an example, I was SP of a district. And it was also a largely rural area, a district called Bundi in Rajasthan. So in one place, a murder of an auto driver happens in broad daylight inside a small town. So obviously the auto drivers were incensed. So they thought, and it was a blind case. I mean, no one knew. People may have seen, but as it happens, they were not willing to kind of depose initially. So we were struggling to find out who is this person who has done the crime, and we were not getting any
clues.
We were working very hard, 24/7. Even I myself was sitting in the police station, I think continuously for many hours. So the auto driver union, people from the auto drivers, they came and they told me, in fact, they came to meet me with a memorandum. And they told me that if this crime is not solved, maybe within next 12 hours, we will go on strike. We will not run the autos in the towns. So I told them, okay, I mean, I can't stop you from going on strike because that is your decision. But let me tell you, if you will go on strike, you will stage demonstrations, dharnas, then definitely our job is to regulate you. So instead of devoting our energies and resources in solving this crime, In that case, we will start spending our resources on managing you. So you decide whether you want me to work upon this crime or you want me to regulate you. And if, as far as our hard work is concerned, you are seeing it. We are working 24/7. And rest assured, till the crime is resolved, we are not going away. We are not going to take any rest. So perhaps, I don't know, they said, okay, we have faith in you and we allow you, and oh, fine. So no strike. And fortunately, in next not 24 hours, but 72 hours, we were able to resolve the crime. We were able to catch hold of the person who committed this crime.
Yes.
And the same people who came to me and kind of, threatened to go on strike, came with bouquets and things like that, and they came and congratulated the police for doing such a fantastic work and all that.
That gives a sense of
yes. So it depends.
Contentment.
Yeah.
So any other instance that you can remember? Any peculiar situation?
One thing as an IG of range in Rajasthan, from the field, how not only your professionalism, your humanitarianism at times, can kind of, give a very different message to the people about the way people perceive police in particular. So what happens, there is this young girl who comes all the way from Japan.
Yes.
And Jaipur is a tourist city.
True.
So though
I've
she
read
was
about
on
this,
her way to Agra, and she came all by herself. No one was accompanying her. And why did she come for the first time to this country? Because she wanted to celebrate her birthday in Taj. Somebody must have told her. So, but she was she routed her journey through Jaipur. She stayed there for a night. Unfortunately, while she was going around, one person befriended her, and in the night he raped her. So early morning when we got this news, I also rushed to the police station where this incident was reported. And when I went and talked to the lady, she would generally speak in Japanese. She was not so fluent in English. Language was an issue. But the challenge was that she had no clue about this person. Neither his mobile number, his email ID, his name, or whatever name this person tells. And whatever was with this lady, that also he took away with her, with himself. So we got worried, and it was a news everywhere in the morning. In fact, I got a call from the Chief Minister in early morning that Mr. Jain, this needs to be resolved. Otherwise, our state, which is dependent on tourism, it will get a bad name.
True.
So we were under tremendous pressure.
Yes, affects the image of the state as well.
So one part was that, okay, our team worked very hard, and we were fortunate to detect the crime and catch hold of this person within few days. But that was the professional part of it.
True, sir.
So what happens there after the challenge when you deal with the foreigners as a victim is that generally after going back to their countries, they don't come back. If they don't come back, then what happens to the case under trial? Obviously, without in the absence of testimony of the victim in the court, they will go scot-free. They can't be punished.
True, sir.
So in our case, I must compliment the Embassy of Japan in India, because they were in touch with us, and we were able to kind of, convince them, and the lady and her family. She came 2-3 times. She came to give her statement in the court. She came to identify this person in the jail, and on her last visit, now coming to the other side of the story, which is I think more interesting to me, I was discussing with my SP about this case in my office, and suddenly a thought came to our mind. Both of us discussed that this lady, young lady, she came to India and she wanted to visit Taj, celebrate a birthday, but unfortunately met with such a bad experience. So why shouldn't we try to cheer her up? In the sense, can we arrange a visit of this lady to Taj, so that she gets to see this beautiful monument and has some good memories of this place, this country, the great country. So my SP immediately agreed. And me and my SP both went to her and her father, who were staying in our guest house only. So we gave this proposition to them. So they were initially hesitant.
True.
But when we assured them that you will be our guest and you will be taken good care of and you don't have to worry at all about anything, your security is our responsibility. So they agreed. And then we arranged the visit. And obviously, with whatever little, whatever you may call power or whatever, because you have some connections as an IPS, as an officer. So we were able to arrange a kind of VIP visit for her inside the Taj. So when the two people came back in the evening, we sent them early morning. And when again we went and met them, they were so happy, joyous, tears were rolling out from both the father and daughter. So it gave us tremendous sense of satisfaction that we could at least at the end of the day, we could cheer them up, and they went back with, at least if I may say, some happy memories of this country.
With
So
a good
though
vibe.
it was strictly speaking not charter of our duty, why
True,
would
sir.
we bother? But we, I think, did a good job on that.
Yes, that's quite exceptional, sir.
Yeah.
So usually investigating, solving the crime, there ends the matter, sir.
Yeah.
So how come like this compassion and empathy, how do you take that extra mile? So why do you get this kind of thought?
One is that maybe your individual upbringing, your core values as a human being, because I think I see police, the one advantage with the police is the manpower.
Yes.
So even as SP, generally some NGOs would call us as a guest of honor, chief guest, who are doing good work in the field of social services. So when I was SP Bundi, I mentioned this. One NGO people, they used to do a lot of eye camps for people who are suffering from cataract and things like that.
Yes.
And then they would be taken up to the hospital and subjected to operations and things. So at that time itself, this idea struck my mind: why don't we join them as partners and help them in doing these outdoor camps as well
More
as the
effectively.
indoor camps? So we joined them as a partner. We would help them in reaching out to the people in the villages, because our police stations are situated everywhere. We like whenever we would meet people, we would say, at this place this camp is happening, and if anyone is having any problem in the eyes, please come. We would even allow them to use our resources, in the sense our vehicles and things like that. So I think in that district, we became quite popular, that not only that we do policing, but we also help people in getting their eye checked and things like that. So that compassion, that humanity, because whatever position you are in, you can go extra mile and do something other than policing also.
Yes.
Many people in police, I know, they do such wonderful work. Some people run schools, some people teach poor children, some constables of us in the police, I have seen them teaching, kids who are kind of, homeless, and they find them wandering here and there. So they organize them, put them in a shelter, and they teach them. So sky is the limit.
So that's quite impressive, sir. And many a times you took a humane approach and also victim-centric approach.
Yes.
In this scenario, sir, sometimes your own team or your seniors might have had some inhibiting mindsets, like, what is the need for all this? Why don't you follow the regular procedures? In that scenarios, how would you tackle yourself through, sir?
I would say I was very fortunate to have one very good seniors. As far as seniors are concerned, they never gave me any trouble, nor they tried to stop me from doing this kind
But
of.
sometimes people say non-essential activities.
Give you, another example.
It is not essential or something.
This time when I was working in CBI, you have to be very, very judicious. I think one thing which I consider myself very lucky about, and I have a very strong sense of justice. I can't do injustice to anybody. Unwittingly, unknowingly, we all commit mistakes, and I don't see that I'm such a great person that everything I will do, it will be always correct. I discovered that because of my mistake, or because the way I handled it is leading to do injustice to anybody, I never hesitate in correcting myself, even at the cost of being reprimanded. So what happens? As a CBI officer, a young SP, I had just joined this organization in the year 2002. Maybe in 2003, we used to lay traps. Means we would try to catch the public servants taking bribe, red handed. That was one of the important things we would do. So we lay a trap. We catch a railway engineer in Delhi. And I will not go into the details, but we found out very soon that this person had been wrongly implicated by the complainant.
Okay.
In fact, it was not the demand of bribe.
Achha.
What was demanded by this person was the money that he he had to pay. He had, it was a long story, but so now when I discussed this with my officer, the investigating officer, he tells me that as far as the technical things are concerned, we have evidence of everything we need to file a charge sheet in this case in the court. All those things like verification, like acceptance, like recovery from his possession, and those are the technical things, those evidences which are considered in a trap case. But I said, once we have discovered that he may have been wronged and falsely implicated by this person, we shouldn't file a charge sheet only for the sake of filing, in order to justify our action.
True.
That we have done a good trap. We may also end up doing a wrong action because this person misled us. So I put my foot down and I said, no, we will do a fair investigation. Whatever this person tells us, we will verify. And if it turns out to be correct, we'll rectify our mistake. Fortunately, my seniors agreed with me, and in that case, we were able to file a closure, which was very unusual in this agency, that after arresting a person, you are giving that person a clean sheet and you are saying this person is innocent, and we took action against the complainant who had filed a false complaint in that case. So you are this is also a kind of conviction and courage.
Yes.
That you should own it up. And I never shied away from describing this incident. In fact, we have a training academy in Ghaziabad, CBI. So generally, I would go there as a guest faculty to give lectures to the officers of CBI. I always used to tell, see, even we make mistakes.
Yes.
But we should own it up.
To acknowledge it is like...
because generally people say, why should I bother? Because I was advised, let him get justice from the court. Let him prove his innocence in the court. कोर्ट में देख लेंगे सर, अपन क्यों परेशान हो रहे हैं?
सही बात.
अपन तो अपनी चार्जशीट फाइल करेंगे.
Nobody wants to take the responsibility.
और ये अगर innocent होगा तो कोर्ट इसको छोड़ देगा. No. Why should we? Because of our mistake, we should suffer in the court. We should do justice.
True, sir. Yeah. I'm sure the instances and examples that you've described will be case studies for many of the younger aspirants and young audience. And also, sir, like going by what you have discussed, policing is not just about rules and implementing the law and order. It is the spirit behind those laws, as well as the ground level policing that you are usually an expert at, that requires compassion, empathy, and also a sense of community driven policing. Amazing, sir. So let's demystify, having spoken about CBI, let's demystify CBI for our audience, sir. So many people say that CBI is just a tool in the hands of the ruling government, or sometimes newspaper articles also spoke of CBI as a caged parrot. And there are some people, and actually the actual mandate of CBI was to be the savior against corruption. So how do you explain it to the audience? Okay,
so there are a couple of questions that you asked, some very tough, I would say, but let me see to the best of my ability how can I answer. First of all, we need to understand what is CBI. It is not a normal police, though they work like a police in the sense that they register crime, they investigate, they file charge sheets in the court.
Okay.
But those who, and particularly if you are talking about the young aspirants who are thinking of becoming a civil servant, I hope they have basic knowledge of the constitutional arrangement in our country. Police is a state subject. So basically tackling crime, handling public order is largely the responsibility of the state police and the UT police. So what is CBI? It is a police of Government of India.
Okay.
And it has been made for a particular purpose. It has a history. Primarily, it is an anti-corruption agency, but
Yes, sir.
now it does a lot of other roles. It
Like
also
crime,
investigates
smuggling,
sensitive
lot of
crimes, like because people demand. Why people demand? Because the agency carries a lot of good faith, reputation. People trust
Yes.
that they think that they will do this job professionally. They'll not come under pressure. That is why people say, no, this investigation of this case should be transferred from the local police to the CBI. Many a times people go to the court and get such orders.
Yes, sir.
That no.
Any
please,
typical case, they usually ask it to be
yes,
transferred. There is also political demand for transfer.
So that speaks volumes about the credibility of this institute it enjoys amongst the common man. So that is as far as the putting pressure and all that is concerned, as it parrot. Now, I would not comment on that. In an odd case, you can't discuss for a particular case. But largely, it is a professional body. And it has a very limited mandate, as I said, because it is not a state police. So it will investigate only certain specific crimes as per its mandate, and jurisdiction is very important. There are many things to it. It is a small organization. It is not a very big organization.
Okay.
So if we expect this organization to weed out corruption from this country, I think that is too much to expect. Because the structure of the organization is not like that. But whatever limited structure it has, it does a fantastic job. Because we must have seen many big scams this country was hit with. This agency has investigated very successfully, charge sheeted people, brought them to justice. Its conviction rate is, I think, one of the highest in the world.
Yes.
This agency has a conviction rate of more than 70%.
Oh my God.
By global standards, it is one of the highest. Anywhere in any part of the world, I would say, not only here. So they do a good job. At the end of the day, they are a very small organization. So whatever limited mandate they have under that, whatever cases comes to them, how many cases they register in a year? Not more than 1,000.
Okay.
Because it is a small organization,
yes,
and it is meant to cater to only certain specific sectors. It doesn't have any jurisdiction in a state, because it is the job of the state agencies to fight the local crime. So if someone is doing corruption in a state, CBI is not responsible. It is the state anti-corruption or vigilance agencies which are responsible, which have the original mandate. CBI does not have the original mandate to deal with that crime.
So can you explain about the structure of CBI? How are the officers deployed in CBI?
Yes.
What nature of officers?
Correct.
And what is the criteria that they look into while
deploying?
That
may be a good question, particularly to those who are interested in joining this agency. Basically, it is a police agency, and it has induction at 2 levels.
Okay.
At the senior levels, leadership levels, it takes on deputation IPS officers and also officers from the other specialist departments.
Okay.
We also take officers from the income tax department, from the customs and GST department, from the other account services, audit services, because they bring
specialization,
domain specific knowledge. And adds value to the enrichedness of this organization. But largely, so at leadership levels, at supervisory levels, it is largely manned by the IPS officers who come from different states on deputation. They stay for a particular period, then they go back, new people come.
Is it by choice or?
Both.
Okay.
So you are interested, then you apply, but then they have a very tough, stringent background check.
Okay.
So if they find you suitable, in the sense that if your professional and financial integrity is found beyond doubt, and your professional capabilities they find worthy, then they take you. Okay. So you have both. You have to express your interest, and they must find you suitable. So your induction depends on that.
Okay.
But other than this, CBI also has its own cadre. Not only at the supervisory level, even at the investigating officers level, it takes people on deputation from the state agencies.
Okay.
But at the investigating level, it has its own cadre also, where they recruit directly through SSC, and then like at sub-inspector level, and then they are trained and they get their promotions. So those who are interested in joining the agency directly, At sub-inspector level, they may appear in the SSC exam and get inducted into this organization. Otherwise, you become an IPS officer and on deputation, you can come.
So, is there any specialized training that they give, sir, once you're on deputation? For
As I
CBI
told,
specific?
definitely, because they have their own training institution, which I mentioned, it is in Gajabad.
Mhm.
So obviously, because though if you worked as a police officer in the field, largely it is the same work, because it is expected from you that you must have handled investigation. But every agency has its more than the issue of knowledge. I think work ethos, work culture, professionalism.
True.
They have very well laid out SOPs. So they make you familiar, they try to teach you, and during the course of your working also you will learn a lot.
Yes, sir. So, whenever a case is assigned to the CBI, sir, what is the course of action or the modus operandi, sir?
You see, as I said, it is a small organization. It is not a very big organization. So again, depends on the sensitivity of the case. If it is a sensitive case, a big scam, where multiple accused persons are involved, multiple organizations are involved, then it will be an investigation by a team. So there will be a chief investigating officer who will be supported by a team of investigators. Sometimes we constitute a multidisciplinary kind of team where people from the income tax will also be there, people from the other streams, maybe a chartered accountant is there to help you, maybe a cyber forensic expert is there in your team to help you.
So these people are taken on a case-to-case basis?
Case-to-case basis. Case-to-case basis. If you are investigating, if I may give the example of one case which happened way back in 2000, during 2000 to 2010, maybe around 2008, 2009, Satyam case. So when CBI found out that there were many companies which were doing audit, companies were also involved, shell companies issues. So the issues of company law was also there, issues of relating to audit were also there, transactions were there, so many transactions. So they constituted a multidisciplinary team from many fields, and they come out with a good job.
But there is always this apprehension that somebody coming as a third party, the strategic sharing of information or the critical information sharing might have some gaps.
No, it depends on the leader. Basically, who is leading the team. If that person is, I think, a skilled person, and because at the end of the day, you have to believe people. You can't keep doubting everybody that if I tell this person this information, he'll go and misuse or share it with the unwanted people. Because like in CBI, one thing we learned very soon after we got into, and today also I find it continues to work very strictly on that principle, is the principle of need to know basis. So if I'm working on a case, then I would know about that case. Otherwise, I may be working in the next room, but I would have no idea what people sitting in the my neighborhood are discussing. And we may be friends, we respect that culture, but we would generally not ask about their case.
Yes.
What are you doing? What is happening? Whom have you examined? What this person told you when it came? They respect this thing a lot.
The professional etiquettes.
Professional etiquettes that, okay, we may be very good friends, we will have good laugh, we will have good food together, but generally we'll avoid talking about each other's cases. That is respected within the agency.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So also in recent times we have seen there's always this lack of coordination between the state police machinery or the state government per se and CBI. And also we've seen several cases where the state government officially or through media statements was saying that we will not allow CBI to come into our state. So what exactly is the structures? Like, does CBI needs to definitely take the permission, or do they have some limitations? How does this operate?
Something I already answered to about this, because I mentioned that those who know, because it is like dependent on our constitution.
True, sir.
Our constitution, the 3 list, Schedule 7.
Yes.
The police and public order is a
stateless sector. Yes, sir.
What is the meaning of this? That if any crime happens in the boundary of a state, it is the principal liability and responsibility of the state agencies to take up. And it is also their prerogative, because they enjoy power under the constitution to deal with that crime. What is CBI? It is the police of the government of India, central police organization. So it doesn't have any mandate to investigate a crime which happens in a state. It can investigate a crime only in those territories which are administered by the government of India, what we call as union territories. So in UTs, it has original jurisdiction. But there, UT also, they have their local police.
Yes.
So there is an understanding even there that CBI would investigate only select serious crime and crimes pertaining to, say, corruption by public servants and things like that. But in the states, if CBI wants to investigate a crime, so what is required? They need permission of that state. What is known as popularly called consent of the state. So once they need order from the government of India, because government of India will order that, okay, you can investigate this crime in that state also. We extend your jurisdiction to the state of, say, Rajasthan. So that is one requirement, that the government of India should also direct you or order you that, okay, you go to Rajasthan and investigate this particular crime. But the second requirement is that you also need to have consent of the state of Rajasthan. Then only you can investigate a crime in the state of Rajasthan. So now the other thing, I will not discuss in detail because everyone knows if the two governments are different, I mean the central government and the state governments. Earlier this problem was not so acute, I would say.
True.
Many opposition ruled states would generally give us the consent. Like even if I may talk about the present Prime Minister, as far as I remember, and those days I worked in the agency, I think he never withdrew consent as the Chief Minister of the state of Gujarat. So CBI had jurisdiction in the state of Gujarat while he was the Chief Minister for many years. So it depends. But many a times, because of political considerations, the state governments, they withdraw consent. And if they withdraw consent, then you can't investigate. But the constitutional courts, the high courts of the state or UTs and the Supreme Court, they have extraordinary powers. They enjoy extraordinary powers. So using those extraordinary powers, they can direct any agency to investigate any crime anywhere in the country. So that is why people go to the courts, because they know the government may not agree, but the courts may direct. So if the constitutional court issues a direction to the CBI that you take over this investigation and you do, then we do not require consent of the state.
Okay, no official consent required.
No, in that case, because constitutional courts enjoy those powers under the constitution.
True, sir. True, sir. So, like when the CBI is functioning or it is given a mandate, how is it usually given, sir? What cases to take up, what not to take up? These are political decisions, or the agency itself recommends to the higher ups that this specific case requires the intervention of CBI?
We shouldn't call it a political decision, but definitely at the government level, because, like as I said, it is the police of the union government, central government. So if the central government is interested, any department, any wing of the central government or public sector undertakings or the public sector banks, if they are interested that this particular crime is so serious that it should not be investigated by the local police, but it should be investigated by an expert agency like CBI, so they request CBI. They send their complaint to the CBI, and then CBI generally does a scrutiny, and if they think that yes, it is worthy of being investigated by the CBI, it agrees, it registers. And suo motu also, CBI has powers to register crime. They are not, because as I said, in the union territories, they have original jurisdiction to investigate certain crimes which are also specified by the union government.
Okay.
CBI has its own law, what is known as Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. So Section 3 of that act tells CBI what crimes you can investigate. It is decided by the union government. It is the police of the union government. So if that crime falls under that schedule of Section 3, and CBI has original jurisdiction, it doesn't have to ask anybody. It can suo motu take up investigation of that case.
Suo motu, can they even take up state level cases, sir?
No. As I said, if a crime has happened in the boundary of a state, then suo motu they cannot take up. For that, there are only two ways. Either the government of India agrees first, and then the state also gives consent or request. Sometimes state itself requests CBI through the government of India that please you take over. They refer many cases to us, their own cases, because they think because of the public demand, okay, don't worry, we will transfer this case to CBI. So a request is sent to the government of India, and government of India in turn directs CBI that you take over. In that case, CBI takes over. And other route is, of course, the constitutional court.
The appointment of the CBI director has been politically controversial, sir. Why do you think so?
No, I don't think so, because if you go into the scheme of the act, it is very clear. It is not decided by one person. There is a committee, and in that committee, Supreme Court Chief Justice is a part of that committee. The Honorable Prime Minister is there, and the leader of opposition is also there. So I don't see any controversy. Controversy we can make on anything.
True,
but how direct CBI is to be appointed is very clearly laid down in the law.
Amazing, sir. This is the kind of transparency that our democracy needs, sir. And how do you handle the political pressure, sir, especially in high-profile cases involving senior politicians or bureaucrats? There are a lot of political interference and also media attention and also political influence at times.
I'll tell you, if you're asking from the CBI point of view, I think most of the officers who have worked in CBI, I have worked till special director on all positions starting from SP. I never have the experience of dealing with political pressure. Because in that agency, I am seriously saying this. I am very honestly saying this. Because two things are very good about this agency. And I will be very honest.
Yes, sir.
If political pressure is there, I am saying if it is there, I am not saying it is not there. If it is there, it is handled only at one level. And that is the level of the chief.
Okay.
Nobody can directly talk to the officers. That is a good part of this agency. That our face with the outside world is only one. That is the director CBI. So whoever he meets, whether he goes and briefs the politician, the minister, so it is he only who knows what is happening, what is transpiring. No, there is no culture. No one is encouraged to directly meet the politicians, directly meet the ministers, directly meet the public representative. It is not encouraged within the agency so that you stay insulated. You do your work. And in that agency, why we think that it is a professional agency, you have the freedom of giving your opinion on file.
Okay.
During that work, nobody will intervene. They say, okay, whatever you think is right, you write. What is my power, I will exercise. And it is respected. It is a clear-cut hierarchy. The line is very well established.
Line of
competence level. Who is the competent authority to decide this case, case, that case. So that is as far as the political influence is concerned. So I think the officers of CBI have no experience. Because nobody will directly approach them. Nobody will talk to them. Nobody will call them and ask, what are you doing in this case? And it is told to all of us that if you are approached by anybody, you should immediately tell your superior.
Okay.
That so and so person contacted me and this is what this person wanted from me. So if you do not disclose, then it is taken adversely against you.
Yes.
Right. So that is one thing. And second thing you asked about was media.
Yes.
In CBI, they have a very good media policy. No officer can speak to the media directly.
Okay.
So, and in our press releases, CBI's press releases, you will never find name of any officer given.
True.
Nobody will get to know that who is the officer who is dealing with this case. It is this officer under his leadership. Like if you look at the press releases of state police agencies, they will write under the able leadership and guidance of my IG, my SP, my this was the team, these were the names. In CBI, the names of the officers of any level is never given in our media releases.
So that level of anonymity is there.
We have a CIO, Chief Information Officer, who comes from outside, generally a senior officer from the Indian Information Service. He handles the media. So he's our spokesperson and he's a non-CBI person. So he's not handling any investigation. So the outside world, the media world will interact through him. He will ask the officer that, can you tell me about this case? I have to brief the media on that.
So a lot of things that we see in media, there's a lot of, going by what you said, there's a lot of gap between perception and reality.
Yes. So like if I may mention a particular case,
Please.
Which was, I think, quite in a lot of public news, was this death of this actor, Sushant
Singh Rajput. Yes, sir.
So the media handling part. So when the CBI team, I was joint director CBI at Mumbai, when the team from Delhi came to investigate that case. So as a senior officer, definitely I was there. So basically, that Sushant Singh Rajput had created so much hue and cry. Everyone was so keen to know what is happening. But did you ever find any CBI officer speaking to any camera?
No, sir.
Strict directions. Nobody. You do your job professionally. You're not supposed to talk to anyone outside. And if I may share, our team was instructed that you will not watch TV during the investigation.
Okay. This is news for many people.
So that you're not influenced by what others are speaking. You do your job professionally. You do your job professionally as it is expected from the agency. Don't get influenced by what people are talking outside. So neither you will speak to the media nor you will watch the media.
Not watching the media also is like, no, many people don't know this.
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
So that is why the agency wanted to do its job in a professional manner. We'll go by the evidence. For us, what matters is the evidence on record. What somebody else is talking about doesn't matter to us. So that is professionalism. I always admire this agency for.
Amazing, sir. I think that will definitely set the record straight for many people. Based on these media reports, people talk कुछ भी बात कर लेते हैं
CBI के ऊपर, इतना भले ही कुछ भी बोलते रहो,
इतना प्रीमियर इन्वेस्टिगेशन एजेंसी पे,
और सही करना है. मैंडेट यही था टीम के लिए, जो सही है वो करना है, एविडेंस के आधार पे करना है बस. You don't have to be influenced by any extraneous consideration. Don't take any phone calls. Don't talk to anybody what you are doing.
So such strict protocols.
Very strict protocols, and our people respect. People who work on the field. Our investigating officers, our teams, they know. That is why I call this is all part of professionalism. There is so much professionalism within that agency culture. सिपाही भी बात नहीं करेगा.
अच्छा.
हाँ, जो हमारे साथ टीम का पार्ट होगा, उससे भी आप जरा सी इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं निकलवा सकते.
That's quite interesting.
And अगर कभी कोई aberration हो जाता है, किसी के पार्ट पे कोई, it is never taken lightly. That person will then face the action of the agency. CBI ही एक ऐसी एजेंसी है जिसमें जीरो टॉलरेंस है करप्शन के प्रति, इन द सेंस कि अपने ही लोगों को पकड़ती रहती है.
ओके.
ये भी एक यूनिक बात है.
ब्यूरोक्रेसी में एक फ्रेटर्निटी होता है.
वो इस तरह का एक परसेप्शन होता है कि साहब आप अपने को नहीं पकड़ते, दूसरों को पकड़ते हो. बट सीबीआई में कोई अगर जाके बता दे कि आपका ये ऑफिसर आया था और इस तरह की बात कह रहा था,
अच्छा,
या और दिस पर्सन वाज एक्सपेक्टिंग समथिंग, दे विल नेवर हेजिटेट. Immediately that person will be taken to task. Immediately a team will be constituted and this person will be taken under surveillance.
Yes, sir.
और जो ही evidence आएगी, action हो जाएगा.
Sir, like most of the times you deal with corruption at the higher levels, senior civil servants. So they have some protection when it comes to civil services rules or the constitutional protection that they have. So how do you strike this balance between procedural safeguards and also the need for accountability?
इसमें पता नहीं थोड़ा मतलब knowledge कितनी है लोगों को, चीजें बदल गई है. पहले क्या था, because this protection is to be provided by law. The protection is given at two levels, and that is as per the law of the land, not by any whims and fancies of a person. Now, earlier the protection means the first level was whether you can conduct an inquiry or investigation against a public servant. So earlier, yes, the law was like this, that if the person happens to be of a particular level, say joint secretary and above, then you require permission of the government.
Yes.
That law has been changed by the government itself. Now the government says for particular type of offences which relate to your what we popularly call as use of official position or abuse of official position, misuse of office. You whatever may be your level, you may be group A, B, C, D. So that distinction has been removed.
Okay.
And everyone enjoys that protection. You require permission of your competent authority. I mean the government, whether it is the state government or the union government under which you are working. So the protection now has been extended to all levels, irrespective of your status. And second, of course, if you want to prosecute, you require prosecution sanction.
Achha.
So those are available to everyone.
So sometimes one case that you were mentioning a while ago, sir, like sometimes people are harassed. And how do you strike this balance between harassment and institutional accountability?
There, I think there is a lot of scope for improvement. I think in all the law enforcement agencies, if I may say, based upon my experience as a former cop, someone who worked both in the state and the center, because I think as a officer, you enjoy a lot of discretion. And your personal commitments, personal value system matters a lot, the way you handle your own cases. So sometimes we know we must appreciate that the process itself becomes punishment. And if you handle the things professionally,
that's an amazing sentence that you made, sir. Process itself becomes punishment.
Definitely, because
that
your
has a huge
handling
impact.
matters a lot. Whether everyone respects the law. If the person may be on the other side, wrong, I mean, a person may be under arrest. No one likes to be arrested.
True.
He thinks that my freedom has gone, and definitely then I may face prosecution, and it is a long drawn process and things like that. But if they know that the officer who is handling is acting professionally as per the law, not subjecting me to any kind of extraneous harassment other than what is permitted by the law to this person, that person also respects you and will have no personal grudge generally. Exceptions are always there.
True, sir. So many times in certain cases, the cases are closed based on insufficient evidence. And the common people think that the person is now innocent. So what is this implication of this term insufficient evidence legally and professionally? Sir?
Right. It is, I think, a very important thing because, at the end of the day, if those who are familiar with our system, criminal justice system, the basic jurisprudence is that a person is innocent till proven guilty, and whose job is to prove this person guilty in the court of law. It is the job, the burden of proof as it is called is always on the prosecution. That is a general jurisprudence. Exceptions may be there again in certain special laws. So basically when you are investigating, what are you doing? You are collecting evidence. So at the end of the day, what kind of evidence you have collected will determine whether you will prosecute or you will close. So if the investigator and that investigator is not alone, right? Because he is also guided by the law officers of the agency. They also vet the evidence which the investigating officers have collected, particularly in agencies like CBI and even in the state agencies. I worked there also. It is always a collective decision. It is not one person's opinion. It is a multi-layered kind of decision where if the majority or the unanimous decision is this, that no, sorry, in this case, we have not been able to collect sufficient evidence. The evidence, so we don't know. Sometimes, see, there are two conclusions that you may give, three conclusions rather in criminal investigation. Yes, this crime has happened. Someone says this person has been murdered. So first thing I need to find is, was it a murder or it was some other kind of death? It could have been an accidental death. It could have been a suicide. It could have been a natural death. So first I have to find out from the evidence, does it satisfy the ingredients of murder? Second question is, who has done? If it is a murder, someone has murdered. Someone is a perpetrator of crime. So I may find evidence in favor of the first part, that yes, it is a murder. But I could not gather sufficient evidence to find out who murdered. So I know crime has taken place, but I do not have sufficient evidence to implicate a particular person in that crime. So what do? I file closure on the ground of insufficient evidence.
Amazing, sir. This level of clarity which we do not find in media and textbooks. I'm sure a lot of people who watch this interview will now get a clarity on how the investigation happens and what exactly is CBI per se,
Yeah.
and how the police system functions. You put it in a very simplistic yet impactful manner.
Thank you very much.
So coming to the personal aspects, sir. So you are a family of almost 3 civil servants now, right, sir?
Yes.
So all of them, like you and Madam, were also in prominent positions in the government. So how was the atmosphere at home, sir? Like who makes the decisions at home? Who has a final say, especially when it comes to children
I think
and career choices?
believing we are a very simple family.
Yes, sir.
You will not find anything which generally people associate with bureaucrats when anyone visits our family. One may find it very strange and perhaps may not believe because my wife is not so much in the sense she's a senior civil servant. She's from the Indian Revenue Service,
Yes,
and she has just retired from the level of Principal Chief Commissioner. So basically, I have seen her when she would come home. She's a homely lady. So many times people who would visit me, they would ask, unless we introduce that she's an IRS officer, they would not even know that she's a bureaucrat. Same goes about my children, my 2 sons. My elder son, you I think are referring to, who became an IAS in the year 2019.
All India rank 2, Akshat Jain.
Akshat. Yes. So we are a very simple family. We never carry whatever position is there attached to our services. At home, we are very simple people. We are just like any normal parent. We and our children, we always enjoy work, and so nothing of this aura of a bureaucrat and all that is you will find inside our home.
So that work-life balance and no conflict of interest.
No conflict of interest at all, and everyone is free. Like in case of, I may very proudly say, for me and my wife, we never told both of our children to do this and to choose this as a career. Akshit went to IIT; it was purely his decision. Right. I told him, you want to do law, you can do law, CLAT, or if you want to do CAT, management, you can do management. You want to pursue humanities, pursue humanities. But he said, I want to try for IIT. He got through, he went there. It was again his decision that he'll take civil services.
Yes.
Otherwise, we said, okay, you want whatever. And my younger one, he said, I will not take up civil services. I'll do humanities. I want to study academics. So he's doing PhD.
So you do not pressurize them. That's amazing.
Neither me nor my wife.
That's amazing, sir. I am sure these will be some parenting lessons for many. And also coming to the relationship between...
Only one thing I like to, because we are, I think, running short of time. I would like to request every parent and the child also, because I've seen with my kids, if it is their decision, that I, like my elder son said, I'll take up civil services. So the drive I could see within him, the driving force and the dedication with which because it was his decision, it was not forced upon him.
Yes, sir.
So
in
that
fact, you
became
had
his driving force.
Many times.
Yes.
In some interviews
so,
you have mentioned.
Yes, definitely I say, because then you don't have to monitor, you don't have to supervise what is he doing. The person becomes self-driven. He takes it, the onus, then he puts in his or her best. Otherwise, success depends on many factors, as we all know, particularly in a competitive exam like the civil services. It is one of the most competitive exams, not because it is very difficult. I always say getting selected into IIT is more difficult than passing a civil services exam.
Absolutely.
If you look at the kind of syllabus and the question papers they ask. But then what makes it more competitive is the sheer number. So here selection is by elimination. You remove the number and it becomes very easy. But cracking a IIT, cracking a MBA, CAT, cracking a CLAT these days, it is much more difficult if you look from the difficulty levels.
So you're usually very realistic about the odds. And it's actually quite interesting, sir, the kind of mutual respect in the family, and also having clear-cut communication and giving children the space to explore their own avenues. I think a lot of people have to take a cue from that, sir. And sir, there is also this common kind of criticism or common perception like both the parents are civil servants, so the kids are having a privileged background and they have some kind of additional support system, so that is why they are able to make it. But whereas Akshat's story or anybody else's, it proves that they are actually under more pressure to prove themselves, and it is their own capabilities through which they make. So could you shed some light on this misconception, sir?
I think you have asked so many questions within one question, and so many important things, I would say. You see, again, now the pressure on the child, because your parents are already civil servants,
Expectations
and now
both
you are
रहता है.
taking up this examination. There comes the role of the parents,
Yes.
parenting.
Yes.
So, if, as I said in our case, if it was the child's decision, where was the question of putting pressure by us? We were very clear. He is trying hard. If God is kind to him, he'll get selected. Otherwise, and life doesn't end if you do not become a civil servant. There are many more important careers outside, and you can do wonderfully well there also. So, parents have to be more careful that they don't put the child under any extra pressure, artificial pressure, I would say. Now, coming to the other thing, the public perception, because these are the kids of the civil servants and perhaps they enjoy certain privileges because of which they are selected. Yes and no. Yes, because you have seen your parents working as a civil servant, you are familiar with the get-up, and that itself may become at times a driving force. But it is a competitive exam. At the end of the day, the parents can't go and write the exam for the kids, and the parents would fail miserably, I must say, because in these days the exam has become so competitive.
Yes, three-stage exam,
and like any other child,
cracking
he
all
has to
India rank
acquire. So there may be, you may say, he's staying in a good home. He had some other comforts which maybe some children may not have because he comes from a particular background. So the status of your parents may provide you certain comforts which may not be available to maybe the other kids. Certain access to certain facilities.
Yes.
Because you suppose usko koi cheez chahiye, source chahiye, so you are a bureaucrat, you may arrange immediately. Some other parent may struggle to arrange that. Economic issues are there. But in a competitive exam, at the end of the day, what matters is what you have written in the answer book. So that you have to write. Nobody else can help you there. So you have to study. You have to absorb the knowledge. You have to acquire that skill of answer writing. That is the biggest challenge in this exam. Na? You have to, within the given word limit, you have to write the best.
Word limit, time limit.
You and me have the same knowledge about a particular subject. But that itself is not sufficient because it is not an oral examination.
So, how do you reflect?
How do I write?
Yes.
You have better writing skills than me. So the examiner, the invigilator will get impressed by your writing. Not by I am not sitting in front of him as a bureaucrat son.
Exactly.
When he is evaluating the copy. So he knows, oh, this guy is an IPS officer son, so let me give him 2 extra marks.
सही बात है.
वहां तो उसने जो कॉपी में लिखा है वो तो उसके लिए सब बराबर. सारी कॉपियां बराबर है. और वहीं से सिलेक्शन होता है.
That clears the air for many people,
Yes.
sir. Sir, also 3 specific things that every parent should do and 3 specific things that they should not do regarding the children.
We can't claim that we are the ideal parents and we know so much about parenting because there are, at times we find there are better people who may have done this job better than us. But since you have asked what they should do, and what they should not do, 2-3 things. As I said, I think they, as a parent, we should not have unrealistic expectations from our children. Sometimes when parents decide, I want from day one, मेरा बेटा डॉक्टर बनना चाहिए, मेरा बेटा इंजीनियर बनना चाहिए, मेरा बेटा IAS बनना चाहिए, तो ये इस तरह की बातें अनविटिंगली हम बार बार करके चाइल्ड पर अनावश्यक प्रेशर डाल देते हैं. जरूरी नहीं है कि चाइल्ड में वो कैपेबिलिटी हो, तो आप एज ए पेरेंट ना उसको यू अलाउ दैट पर्सन टू ग्रो एज पर हिज नेचुरल टैलेंट. है वो करना चाहता है, फैसिलिटेटर का रोल है. बेसिकली एज ए पेरेंट यू मस्ट नो दैट योर रोल इज दैट ऑफ फैसिलिटेटर. यू मे गाइड बट डोंट प्रेशराइज. ये जो है ना, मैं नहीं बन पाया, मेरा बच्चा बनेगा। कई पेरेंट कहते हैं मेरी बड़ी इच्छा थी मैं आईएएस बनता, लेकिन मेरे पेरेंट्स ने मुझे एग्जाम नहीं देने दिया, अब मैं अपने बच्चे को आईएएस बना के छोड़ूंगा। अच्छा भी है बुरा भी है।
हाँ सर।
अच्छा है कि अगर आपका बच्चा कैपेबल है, वो खुद भी बनना चाहता है और आप उसको गाइड कर सकते हो और आप उसको फैसिलिटेट कर सकते हो, बिल्कुल बनाइए, कोई गलत नहीं है। लेकिन अगर उसमें मान लीजिए वो या तो इंक्लिनेशन नहीं है या उसका इंटरेस्ट कहीं और है, वो उसका दिल कहीं और लगता है, तो फिर आप अगर उसको अनावश्यक रूप से प्रेशराइज मत करिए एंड बिकम अ फैसिलिटेटर। आई वुड ऑलवेज से हैव फेथ इन योर चाइल्ड्स कैपेबिलिटीज। और ये भी है कि कोई पर्टिकुलर कैरियर ही सब कुछ है, ऐसा हम लोग सोच लेते हैं। आई थिंक द वर्ल्ड इज अमेजिंग, फुल ऑफ अमेजिंग टैलेंटेड पीपल। वी कीप रीडिंग, देयर आर सो मेनी अचीवर्स इन सच डाइवर्स फील्ड्स। तो जरूरी थोड़ी ब्यूरोक्रेट्स आईएएस आईपीएस बनने से ही क्या पूरी दुनिया आपको थोड़ी जान जाती है ना। तो कई लोग हैं जो आईएएस आईपीएस नहीं बने लेकिन उनको दुनिया जानती है। So it means they
Whatever
must
the
have
field
done
is,
exceptional work in their field and with lot of passion. We all know.
Yes.
Yes. So इसलिए ये parental pressure, how do you handle it becomes important. Parenting becomes important. Value system becomes important. सही बातें सिखाइए अपने बच्चों को, सही काम करना सिखाइए। शॉर्टकट्स में यकीन मत करिए कभी भी। There is no substitute of hard work in life. हर व्यक्ति जो सफल है उसने बहुत मेहनत की है, मैं ये कह सकता हूँ। हम ये फालतू की बातें करते हैं कई बार कि ये उसका बेटा है, ये उसका दोस्त है, ये उसका भाई है, इसलिए इसने उसको वहां बिठा दिया, उसको ये कर दिया। हर सफल व्यक्ति के पीछे उस व्यक्ति की बहुत बड़ी मेहनत है, sacrifice है।
Rightly said, sir. Rightly said. Sir, like when Akshat has made it to All India Rank 2 in UPSC, there was a lot of media attention, and whatever posts or clips were coming of him, they were going viral. So even like uska shadi ka bhi clips, wo there's a lot of attention and virality.
Correct.
So how do you suggest youngsters to maintain privacy and at the same time be inspirational public figures? Because this is a peculiar situation.
I know, unfortunately, ये थोड़ा सा अब मीडिया का जिस प्रकार का इन्फ्लुएंस है, सोशल मीडिया का, if you trust us, we are very very private people, including my child, Akshat.
Yes.
उसको कोई बहुत ज़्यादा शौक नहीं है इस सब पब्लिसिटी का। And one thing good about him is कि हाँ, वो मैं देखता हूँ, बट जैसे वो कोई बहुत ज़्यादा कभी एक्साइटेड नहीं होता इन सब चीज़ों को देख के, या हमें बताता हो देखो आज मेरे बारे में ये वीडियो आया है या मेरा ये लिखा है, बल्कि एज ए पेरेंट हम ही को कोई दूसरे लोग ज़्यादा भेज देते हैं, कई बार हमने देखा है। बट ये बड़ा चैलेंज है, बिकॉज थोड़ा सा लोग कई बार, अब जैसे शादी के वीडियो की आपने बात करी, हम तो कभी नहीं चाहते थे कि उसका शादी का वीडियो मीडिया में आए। इनफैक्ट इट वाज नेवर, वी नेवर पुट एनी, आई थिंक हम तीनों में से क्या चारों में से, मतलब इंक्लूडिंग माय यंगर सन, कभी कोई हम अपनी फोटो नहीं डालते।
सही बात है।
कोई फेसबुक पे नहीं डालते, किसी जगह पे नहीं डालते। आज तक हमें वो शौक नहीं है कि भाई लोग हमारे बारे में जाने, पता करें कि देखो हमारा लड़का सेकंड रैंक हो गया है, ये हो गया है। अब लेकिन अब चूंकि वर्ल्ड ऐसा है, तो आप जितना डिटेल्ड रहो इन चीज़ों से, ज़्यादा आपका दिमाग खराब नहीं होना चाहिए। यू डोंट कंसिडर योर सेल्फ समथिंग वेरी बिग बिकॉज पीपल आर टॉकिंग अबाउट यू, पीपल आर पुटिंग लॉट ऑफ वीडियोज अबाउट यू एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट। तो फॉर्चुनेटली आप ही को ध्यान रखना पड़ता है, फिर धीरे धीरे चीज़ें सामान्य हो जाती है। तो नाउ टुडे नो वन गेट्स अफेक्टेड बाय व्हाट इज हैपनिंग।
यस,
बट यू कांट अवॉइड, यू कांट अवॉइड।
Yes.
वो आपको सहन भी करना पड़ता है।
Yes, sir.
थोड़ा सा इंडिफरेंट सा रहो, डिटेल्स रहो तो ठीक रहता है।
Yes, sir. So you've held lot of leadership roles, right, as an IPS?
I mean, some of it, not
Yes.
lot of. As an IPS, it gives you some opportunities.
Yes, sir. So leadership also involves taking your team together. So what are your insights on this, sir? How do you increase the morale of the team? How do you sustain it?
लास्ट ही क्वेश्चन रखो, मेरा काफी लंबा हो गया, मुझे जाना भी है।
Yes, sir.
देखिए ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है। टीम लीडर, मैंने देखा है लीडर जो है ना, वो भाई काम तो आपको लेना ही है, डिसीजंस आपको लेना है। 2-3 चीजें लीडर में होना चाहिए जो बहुत जरूरी है टीम बिल्डिंग के लिए, टीम को साथ लेके काम करने के लिए। एक तो टीम को ये विश्वास होना चाहिए कि अगर कुछ जेन्युइन मिस्टेक हो गई बोनाफाइडी, तो लीडर हमारा साथ नहीं छोड़ेगा। लीडर ऑन करेगा, लीडर डिफेंड करेगा, तो टीम फिर आपके लिए कुछ भी करने के लिए तैयार रहती है। दूसरा मैंने देखा लीडर में कंपैशन होना बहुत जरूरी है। लीडर कई बार क्रूअल हो जाते हैं, लीडर इनह्यूमन हो जाते हैं, दैट आई हैव सीन। दे मतलब एकदम इंडिफरेंट से हो जाते हैं बिल्कुल ही, एंड दैट क्रिएट्स लॉट ऑफ डिसहार्मनी। मतलब मेरा ये मानना है कि ट्राई टू कीप पीपल अराउंड यू एज हैप्पी एज पॉसिबल। अब मान लीजिए मैं इलेक्शन करा रहा हूँ, हमारे यहाँ इलेक्शन में क्या होता है, पहला आदेश क्या आता है, ऑल लीव्स कैंसल्ड, नोबडी विल गो ऑन एनी लीव। तो बिल्कुल सही है, क्योंकि यू नीड मैन पावर। तो अब किसी के घर में कोई बहुत जेन्युइन इशू हो गया, इमरजेंसी हो गई, लोग सुनेंगे ही नहीं, इलेक्शन नो छुट्टी, इलेक्शन नो छुट्टी, इलेक्शन नो छुट्टी। नेचुरली उनका भी अपना, क्योंकि अगर वो सबको छुट्टियां देने लग जाएंगे तो मैन पावर कम हो जाएगा। पुलिस में तो बहुत प्रॉब्लम रहती है। मैं कह सकता हूं कि मेरे ख्याल से कितने ही इलेक्शन मैंने करा दिए होंगे, मेरे पास अगर कोई आ गया छुट्टी मांगने और उसने मुझे बता दिया जेन्युइन इशू है, मेरा जाना जरूरी है, आई नेवर सेड डोंट गो।
ओके,
वो करा लेंगे, इलेक्शन हो जाएगा, डोंट वरी।
How would you manage the manpower shortage?
तुम्हारा जाना शायद ज्यादा जरूरी है। नहीं, कभी कोई दिक्कत नहीं आई।
Okay.
Never faced any problem. It is an issue of attitude. अरे काम थोड़ी रुकता है एक दो आदमियों के नहीं होने से, बट कई लोग बड़ी हार्ड पोजीशन ले लेते हैं, यार कुछ नहीं, भले उसके घर में, और वो बेचारा मेंटली परेशान है, उसका पूरा दिमाग और दिल अपने घर पे लगा हुआ है, जबरदस्ती आप, तभी तो इस तरह की घटनाएं हो जाती है कई बार। हैं, लोग अपनी गन चला देते हैं, ये वो सब। ये लीडरशिप का रोल है। इम्पैथी, क्या मैं दूसरे की तकलीफ को समझ सकता हूं क्या? अगर मैं इसकी जगह होता और मेरा बॉस मुझसे इस तरह से बात कर रहा होता तो मेरे ऊपर क्या प्रतिक्रिया होती? हम सारे तो बॉस ही बॉस नहीं होते, हम भी किसी के सबऑर्डिनेट हैं, तो किसी के बॉस हैं, कोई हमारा बॉस है ना। ऐसे तो बहुत कम लोग होते हैं जो कहते हैं भाई मैं ही बॉस हूँ, यहाँ तो और कोई दूसरा बॉस ही नहीं है ना। बॉस के भी बॉस होते हैं।
सही बात। मेरा
कोई बॉस है तो मैं किसी का बॉस हूँ, तो मैं ये भी तो देखूं कि मेरा बॉस से मेरा क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन है।
पर ये सेल्फ रिफ्लेक्शन बहुत कम लोगों में रहता है ना,
तो वो इम्पैथी होना लीडर में बहुत जरूरी है। और मेहनत करते हैं खूब लोग, ट्रस्ट करते हैं आपको, आपके लिए जान लगाने के लिए तैयार रहते हैं। हमारी पुलिस में तो बहुत जरूरी होता है कि भाई आपके नीचे वाले, आप राइट में चले गए, राइट हो रहा है, लोग आपको कभी भी टॉर्च कर सकते हैं, अब आप पीछे मुड़ के देखो तो कोई नहीं, सब भाग गए। तो अगर आपने उनका दुख दर्द में साथ दिया है, वो आपको बिलीव करते हैं, वो मानते हैं कि आदमी बढ़िया लीडर है, कभी भागेंगे नहीं, आपके आगे आके खड़े हो जाएंगे। आप वगैरह आप पीछे रहो, आप कहाँ जा रहे हो, मैं हूं ना अभी तो आपके पहले, चला फर्स्ट आई विल फेस आप ना। और हमने ये भी देखा है कि कई लोग कहते हैं कि अरे वहां तो मैं अकेला ही रह गया, सब भाग। तो इट डिपेंड्स, दोज आर द लीडरशिप क्वालिटीज।
Amazing, sir. So to conclude, is there any message that you would like, words of wisdom that you would like to give to the audience?
If a part of the audience is the people who are trying for civil services to make it as a career, मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा, there is no shortcut. बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ती है इस एग्जाम में। First, you need to understand what are the essentials which help you in cracking this examination. Whatever little I know, is that three things are very essential. One is that knowledge. Obviously जो भी आपका सिलेबस है उसकी अच्छी नॉलेज आपको होनी चाहिए. That also includes कि आपने रिवीजन वगैरह ठीक से किया कि नहीं. दूसरी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज होती है कि भाई आपने आंसर क्वालिटी वाला लिखा कि नहीं लिखा, है ना. क्वालिटी आंसर मैटर्स, as I mentioned, because here the selection is by elimination. You have to be better than the other person on paper. तो आपको अच्छे नंबर मिलेंगे, उससे ज्यादा नंबर मिलेंगे. और सबसे तीसरी चीज टाइम मैनेजमेंट. तो ये सारी चीजें उसमें इतने इसेंशियल्स हैं कि मेहनत बहुत करनी पड़ती है. मैं क्या देखता हूँ कि बहुत सारे बच्चे, दे वांट टू बिकम सिविल सर्वेंट, which is a good thing, but they do not understand the requirement, the essentials, and they don't work accordingly. Like I always say, if you are a genius, you don't have to worry. Because a genius, in any case, even with 3-4 hours of study, that person should be able to crack. But if you consider yourself as a normal person like me, In that case, if you want to crack this exam, you need to work very, very hard, say for 13-14 hours a day of study, because you have to tick mark all essentials. मेरा ये भी हो गया, ये भी हो गया, ये भी हो गया, ये भी हो गया. Then, so there is no substitute of hard work, my friend, in life. And my best wishes to each one of your audience.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir,
you.
for such wonderful, insightful inputs.
Thank you.
I'm sure
Shashank.
you will be continuing to be a source of inspiration for many
It is
people.
my privilege if I can be of any help.